Hey, what's up? This is your boy Asiago, back at it again here on 3am Thoughts. And hey, it's season 3. I call it season 3, although, on Anchor, I can separate into seasons. On Spotify, it's all just mushed up together. And what exactly do I consider a season? Well, every 26 episodes. That's a pretty good number. Usually when I watch anime, it's 24 episodes. Usually for a season. Or back in the day, when I used to watch, like those old Cartoon Network cartoons, used to be 13 episodes a season. I don't know, or maybe those are just volumes. I don't know. But anyways, here we are. New season, new topics. We're gonna keep this train going here. Hell yeah, because so prior to recording, not just this episode, but freaking the jalapenos episode, a couple of episodes back, I mentioned how, in like at the time of recording that episode, it's been a while since I've been back here on the whole, podcasting deal, because it's, there's so much has been going on, and I've gotten kind of lazy, and life just happens, and but now I'm back. I'm gonna try to freaking talk more often, post more often, that's because that's what I want to do. I love this little channel that I got here, and I want to keep giving you guys the content. However, a few of you who actually listen to this stuff or whatever, put it for background noise, put it, they actually listen. I don't really give a damn. And all in all, this is still my own personal, journal. So I just kind of document, myself and my thoughts and all that on here. So, it be what it be. But anyways, okay. So I've been out for quite a while. Let's see, I don't remember exactly. So I think the last episode I made before my mini hiatus was journal entry number 49. It kind of sounds like a song if you think about it. Shoot, yeah. Let's see, freaking. I talked about like a bunch of stuff in that episode. I don't even remember what I talked about. But anyways, but between the time recording that and the jalapenos episode, man, freaking so much stuff has happened. So I recorded the 49 early in June, and that is when crap hit the fan. That's when crap hit the fan. So let's see, it was early June. Okay, so here's where it all starts. So I'm going into work, right? And so here's my normal, routine whenever I get up to go to work. I wake up at 12:35, hit the snooze button like 12 times before I finally wake up around 12:50. And and get this, I'm in Texas. It's summer, and around this time we hadn't been getting no rain, so it's freaking hot as hell outside. And I'm over here freaking, I put on my clothes, I put on my Walmart vest. I get my freaking leather mask on, then I got my gloves, I got my bag, so that I gotta freaking walk out, freaking. Oh, and I also pack, I give myself an energy drink, and around, at this time, I'll drink my energy drinks before work, just so by the time I clock in, it's all like it's kicking in, and I'm just ready for the day. But so I'm over here, walk into my car, freaking it's hot as hell outside, and I start up the car, and get this, my car has no freaking AC, like no AC at all, and it sucks because I have to drive with the windows rolled down, otherwise freaking I pass myself out to death. And so I'm over here freaking, I mentioned the leather mask earlier, but I put it down under my chin so I can actually drink my energy drink. And this drink wasn't just any, energy drink. It was C4. Now, it's not really so much of an energy drink as it is, energy supplements. It's like it came in a can. It's a liquid, so it's an energy drink. But C4 itself, it's energy supplements. You look where the nutrition facts are. There are no nutrition facts. There's supplement facts. And if you go to the pharmacy section of Walmart, or in any area where they have the freaking protein shake, powders. I mean, it's gonna, you would see the C4 powders there too. And originally the C4 energy drinks were sold there too, but then they moved into the energy drink aisle. That's kind of weird, considering how different they are. But upon drinking these C4s, I realized why. They're like they've been separated from the actual energy drinks, like the Monsters and the Bangs and all that, for so long, and why, like, despite coming in such small cans, they pack a lot of power, because that's a lot of freaking energy supplement, that you're digesting. And I'm over here freaking, it's a hot day, and I'm drinking this stuff on my way to work. And thing is that whenever you, like, for me personally, I realized that whenever I drink like an energy drink or something, my temperature kind of rises a bit. Normally when I drink like a Rockstar or something, it's maybe maybe I might grow like my I can't talk to that, man. So I'm like, my temperature may rise by like a degree or two, but then you got freaking C4, which kind of dials that up, a couple more numbers, and not to the point where it makes me sick or nothing, but to where I just start feeling hot. Now, it's not like in a really bad way, to where, oh god, like I'm allergic to these things. Oh freaking, oh yeah, I'm gonna end up killing myself with these. No, it's nothing bad like that. But shoot, but C4 specifically, like I have every reason to believe that not only has it raised my temperature, significantly, but it has done it by at least 3 degrees. Because normally, when I get my freaking temperature taken at work, despite coming here in a car, has no AC on a hot day, wearing all this stuff I got on, freaking, when they take my temperature on a normal day, it's around like 97.9, something like that, or 98.3. It's in that little small area. But on that particular day, freaking, I came in, they took my temperature, and they were like, oh shoot, you're at 101. Freaking, go in the corner and cool off. Let's see if it changes. And and this is, by this point, it's kind of like a normal routine for me, because again, up to this time, drinking energy drinks before work, it was a normal thing for me. And within doing this, I would mostly drink, like, again, Rockstars, Monsters, Bangs, whatever have you. But with those drinks, though, they don't raise my temperature as high as a freaking C4 does. Like, oh my freaking god. Like, okay, I was used to freaking, getting sent to the corner to cool down. Like, freaking, like, I actually started this freaking habit where instead of getting my temperature taken, I would just head straight for the freaking fan in the corner. Like, and then get my temperature taken. Because, I knew that every time I would freaking go, they would just tell me to go to the corner anyways. So I just stopped, I just didn't bother to freaking go through the whole process and just go straight to the damn fan. But anyways, but with this situation though, my temperature remained at freaking 101 degrees. Like, it was working normally for everyone else, but man, it was freaking 101 degrees, like, constantly for me. And not my workplace. Freaking, like, if your temperature is at 100 or higher, you can't work. You're out. And if it would have ended at that would have been nice. That would have been freaking nice. I would have just enjoyed the day home. Probably would have called out from work. At least got paid with protected PTO. But problem is that because this problem kept persisting, and I'm guessing this was like the first time that anybody actually encountered this, freaking, they call up my HR guy. The HR guy comes by, he sees the situation for himself, and he's like, okay, so not only can you not come into work today, you're not coming into work for the next 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? And oh my god, I'm like, it was so embarrassing, because I'm over here sitting in the corner, man, I'm like all ready for work, but this dude here, he's telling me I can't go, and I'm like, oh god. And thankfully, it was on a payday, so so after he told me, I have to call this freaking place called like Sedgwick, and get my freaking leave of absence taken care of soon. I decided, you know what, well, if I'm off for pretty much the next 2 weeks, might as well go pick up my groceries, pick up a couple games, and it just pretty much enjoy this little 2-week vacation, because the whole point of the leave of absence is it's there for if you're actually been exposed to the virus, because the virus supposedly raises your temperature, and if you're exposed to it, they tell you don't come into work for 2 weeks. Like, just don't, and they thought I had the virus, so I was on a forced 10-day vacation. like I literally call this little arc of my life, and it is like a tiny arc. I just call it the forced vacation. Shoot, because it's not like I really wanted it or anything. But the good thing was that for those 2 weeks, let's see, or really the 2 work weeks, which for me would be 8 days. For those 8 days, I would be getting paid, like a regular 8-hour day, despite not coming in. But after those 2 weeks, if I didn't come in, if I didn't come back to work, with a doctor's note saying I'm negative, then it's gonna stop paying me. Then after that, I mean, I'm not fired or anything. I could still come back to work, but I'm not getting paid, after those 2 weeks. So, so I called up the Cedric people, and I tried, looking for places to get my COVID test done, after I got, took care of my little grocery shopping, and it was, and it was good. And one of my coworkers there, seeing me grocery shop when I should be working, he was like, "Hey, I know this place, down the street, and it's actually this community college that I live right next to, and and right now, because they ain't having no school, they're repurposing the entire parking lot as an actual like COVID-19 testing facility, and so the thing is that what he was telling me, it's free." But the problem is that you'll have to wait in a long line, so I'd have to go there pretty early. With me, that's not too much of a problem, because I don't normally sleep till 6, and if I'm off the next day, which I was definitely off the next day, I mean, I probably wouldn't sleep until like 8 or something. So I told myself, you know what, I'm not going to bed until I get my test taken, and I kind of regret that, kind of do, because on that day, freaking God. Like, I actually, well, I did get some sleep, actually, because I think I was forced to go to bed. Yeah, freaking my dad came by and he was like, "Lo, no, I don't like this idea of you staying up, to get the test done and going to bed afterwards. No, like, I need you to go to bed right now." And I'm like, "All right, fine." It was like 5. Well, actually, it was like 3 in the morning whenever he told me that. Or, well, not 3. It wasn't that late, but still, you get what I mean. It was earlier than normal. But with me, my problem is that because of the sleeping schedule that I'm so used to, freaking being up from 12:30 something p.m. to 6 a.m. normally, like, I can't get myself to go to bed earlier than freaking 5. I just can't. Like, around 5 o'clock, that's when I actually do start getting tired, and by 6 o'clock, I'm just dead. Unless I'm off the next day and I just suddenly have that extra energy to just do whatever. But still, like, it's hard for me to sleep freaking before 5 a.m. And on that day, I like, it took me all the way to 5 a.m. to finally sleep. But problem was, I had to wake up early the freaking next day. So freaking originally, my plan was that I was gonna actually show up, to the community college at 5 a.m. and just like wait until they, open and stuff. I didn't get there until like freaking 7:20 a.m. or somewhere around there. Man, I only had like a couple of hours of sleep. Man, I was just dying, and I was waiting this long line, and I have no AC in my car, but I thought, hey, the windows are rolled down, so it ain't too bad. And idiot me didn't realize that you have to have the windows up, the entire time you're in line. And that's okay. Again, that's not a problem for everyone else because they have AC in their cars. For me, nada. And on top of that, freaking my water, I didn't have any water. So I had no I had no water with me. I didn't have no AC. My windows were up. I was just burning up. And I had to wear a mask too. So it was getting harder and harder to breathe. The Maroon 5 reference there. It's still like, it was pain, it was torture. Like I'm over here tired, dying, sweating like a freaking pig, and the line just took so long. And I got is despite how early I got there was still quite a bit of a line, and freaking. Like it took them forever. Like the freaking people at the facility, it took them forever, to set up and start getting the line moving. My God, like I was freaking there until like almost 1 p.m. Like, are you freaking kidding me? I was one of the first few people there, and I didn't get out till like freaking almost four or somewhere around 4 or 5 hours later. Man, like I was just. I just wanted to go home and just die on my bed, man. I was just ready. But another problem was that I already made plans for that day too. With my mask on, of course. Go to a couple stores. Get myself some new work boots, some new street shoes, and give me some medicine and stuff, and just in case if I do have the virus. Ooh. God, like and during this whole freaking 10-day forced vacation, like what I did as like a personal solution to if I were to actually have the viruses, I just took Dayquil. Like, I mean, if we trust Dayquil enough, that the combat against like the common cold and the flu, well, coronavirus is just another strain of the flu. So I mean, Dayquil should be able to handle it like good. And actually, the funny thing was that like on that day, I was actually kind of burning up. I felt like I had a fever going on. Took some Dayquil and I felt better. That could also just obtain to the fact that I freaking only had 2 hours of sleep, and I was in a freaking hot car for hours, and all that crap. Could have possibly been something like that. But anyways, anytime I felt bad, I just took a Dayquil and I felt fine. And my theory is I probably did have it. And then I took some Dayquil and I'm fine. But let's see. But in actuality, I believe it was just a damn energy drink that raised my temperature and caused a whole misunderstanding. Shoot. Anyway, so back to the whole freaking COVID test over there at the community college. So as long and tedious as it was, freaking waited like almost 4 hours just to stick a freaking cotton swab up my nose and put it in a tiny jar and give it to the freaking lady. God, and they're like, oh well, if you test positive, we'll call you in 3 to 5 days, and you gotta log onto this website, and we'll post your results between 3 to 5 days. And so I was like, okay, 3 to 5 days, shoot, that means, hey, I already got my test going on. I already got a good feeling that I'm negative, and shoot, and all I gotta do is just kind of chill for the next 2 weeks, and I bought a couple of new games. I got Crackdown 3 for my Xbox. I got Last of Us 2 for the PlayStation 4, and that was actually, I think that was it at the time. I swore I got another game, but I can't remember, man. Like, those are the 2 games I do remember getting. But anyways, so I thought, okay, shoot, it's going to be relaxing, it's going to be good. Then I realized, after 3 to 5 days, I didn't get no phone calls, so I wasn't negative, so I didn't come back negative. And I freaking didn't, like, there's a freaking reason why that COVID testing site over there at the community college was free. There's a freaking reason. Because, like, get your results in 3 to 5 days. My freaking arse. My God. Like, you want to know how long it took me to actually get my results from there? Like, freaking almost 2 months. Like, literally last week, I looked at my results last week on the little website they told me to look on, and just last week, my results came in. Like, oh my God. Like, are you freaking kidding me? 3 to 5 days. Yeah, more like 1 to 2 months. Like, oh my freaking Lord. And God, like, after that first week passed by, and I still didn't get my results in, I was kind of freaking out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of freaking out here, because I need to go back to work. I got bills I need to pay. I got stuff to do. I gotta feed myself. I gotta, be able, to fill the gas in my car and stuff like that. I can't freaking, I can't not be working right now. I need the money. and my as much PTO as I had at the time, that can only last for so much. So, God, like I was starting to kind of freak out here. And then I went to this, so I was kind of, panicking. I was panicking, so I was going up and down this freaking actually, because I live on a highway, along a highway, and I was just going up and down the highway looking for little places I can get my testing done. And I noticed this one little clinic. It's a little like Hispanic clinic, and and like they always had this big old sign in the front, because it's part of the little strip mall, and right in front of the strip mall, I had a sign that says, COVID test, 15-minute COVID testing. Get your results, and in as little as 15 minutes. And I was like, well, I'm getting desperate here. So might as well go try it out. See if it, I was like, in my head, I was like, man, it sounds too good to be true. It sounds way too damn good to be true. But then I freaking go in there, like, freaking, there was AC inside, and the building was a lot bigger on the inside than it was on the out. And sure, there was a little bit of a line, but again, being in an air-conditioned building, it wasn't that bad. And and as they advertised, freaking, I signed the little papers. They didn't ask me for my entrance or anything like that. But actually, that should have been a red flag right there. But anyways, forget, they just told me, okay, sign this and we'll call you up when we're ready. And they called me up, freaking, and so they did this like little blood test. It was pretty much like the antibody test or like a pregnancy test or something like that. They pricked my finger, they did a little blood test, and after 15 minutes I came back and they're like, okay, you're negative. Here's a note. Your life can go back to normal now. Goodbye. And I thought, oh hell yeah, this is lit, man. This is freaking lit. I can go back to work. I can just, hey, I don't have to worry about it no more. This is pretty damn cool. And actually, at the time of this happening, this was like towards like the last couple days of my forced vacation. So, but in between, that time, the whole freaking community college deal, freaking, I was living life like almost like normal, except without the going to work part. I would just go chill with my friends, start talking to who would eventually actually become my girlfriend by the end of it all. A little more on that, it's like, in a little bit, because I got something else to mention. So that little Hispanic clinic, that I got my 15-minute COVID testing at, yeah, like a couple of days ago, a couple of freaking days ago, I was looking on the news, and that very clinic that I went to, freaking, that clinic I went to apparently was run by someone who wasn't even a doctor. Like, this guy was like, he after these people gathered enough evidence, they found out that this guy, who wasn't even a doctor, was running this little clinic, and he was, charging everybody, including me, $80 for these freaking 15-minute COVID tests, only to find out they weren't actually real COVID tests. They were just antibody tests. And my God, and the judge, the judge of the city, got the, he got the freaking clinic shut down. And I knew it sounded too good to be true. And now, personally, how does it affect me? Well, me getting my results in was like a month. It was like a month ago, and so I really don't care. Like, really, I really don't care, because I'm just glad. I'm just glad that I got, did the whole testing thing when I did. Like, despite whether it was real or fake, I'm just glad I did it when I did, because if I didn't do it when I did, like, instead of like getting my results, within 15 minutes, I would have got because it got me, because that little freaking fake little test got me back to work. That's all that matters to me, is it got me back to work. Because, like, literally, if I didn't go there, or if they would have shut it down before I did my little test there, then I literally wouldn't have been going to work until literally just this freaking week. Like, oh my damn god, I'm so glad I took the chance when I did. And I don't care if it was fake. Hey, it's been like 2 months. If I had the virus, freaking, I'm either asymptomatic or I had it, but then my body overcame it, and now I'm immune to it. So either way, it's a win-win for me. But like, it's crazy. It's crazy how, you know, I don't know, this entire situation. I don't even know how I want to explain it. It's just nuts. And another thing is that I recommended so many people to this freaking clinic because it worked too well. And my god, so a lot of people that I work with, went there. Even my girlfriend went there, and oh my god, and she got retested at an actual place. As for me, like, I know I'm good, so I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. So kind of just did my thing. Just kind of I just continue working, doing whatever. Anyways, so now that we got that little fiasco out of the way, let's see. So in the in between time, between COVID testing, those 2 weeks. So, I'm over here, just like, shoot, this being on that freaking forced 10-day vacation. If I wasn't out there, like doing like, what's it called, errands, or doing COVID testing, like whenever I wasn't doing that, I was just sitting at home bored as hell. Like that 10-day vacation reminded me of why I always hated summer vacation growing up as a kid. Because let's be honest here. Sure, whenever back in grade school, when summer would hit around, last day of school, everyone got freaking excited because they're like, hell yeah, no more class, no more homework. We could stay up as late as we want. We could play Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, or whatever. We can, we could just have fun. We can go to the pool. We can go to the beach. We can go on vacation. It's all fun and games. But then it's freaking. Then you find yourself in July, and all of you've done all freaking summer is just like sit at home watching TV. Or at least that's how my summers are always been. Because I didn't have a car growing up until I was 17, but I only had a learner's permit, and I didn't have a license until I was 18, freaking like months before I started working. So it's not like a freaking like could drive around, visit friends and all that. And too, even when I had friends, back in high school that did start driving at 16 and stuff, I wasn't really allowed to go out, and hang out with friends, freaking, because my parents would never let me go out. They would never let me do anything. They just told me, stay home, do your chores, and just that's it. No going out. Like during it's weird because during the school year, I had this little gang that I used to hang out with. We used to call ourselves the Lone Star Society, the LSS, and freaking we just hang out, every Thursday night, freaking going to restaurants, go on the random places, just kind of chilling, having fun, kind of like what I do with my current little gang today, but like on a smaller scale. And it's just, God, it was just so boring. Like freaking, I remember looking forward to Friday every single week, not because not because I was getting not because of the weekend or anything like that, because it's summer vacation. It's just so because they went grocery shopping every freaking Friday. So I'm like, oh yes, I can finally get out of the house. God, summers were just so boring, man. I hated them. I literally just wasted entire summers doing nothing but playing Grand Theft Auto because that was the only way I could just keep myself sane. I mean, I called friends and stuff like that, but most of the time they didn't call back because they were just doing the same thing, playing video games, just trying to pass the time by until school started back up. Then we get excited for school because they're like, okay, yeah, I don't have to be here out freaking home all day being bored out of my damn mind. I can talk with friends, I can talk with teachers, and I can do this and that. I break the monotony. Damn. And during the 10-day quarantine, it's just, God, it just reminded me so much of it. I freaking hated it. I hated it. Hey, what's up? I wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to Anchor. Now, it's a free app with many creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone and computer. Now, the great thing about Anchor is not only is it free, but also it will distribute your podcast for you. So it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many more websites, which is awesome for me because I know a lot of people that use Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So just knowing that my 3am thoughts can be heard on their favorite listening sites, it's all Gucci here, man. So it can also make money from your podcast as well with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you very much. Let's go. All right, welcome back. So I was talking about how freaking boring summer got. Like, oh my freaking lord! Like I just freaking hated it. And my 10-day forced vacation, just like, well, I mean, it was actually 14 days, but I'll just say 10 days because that's the normal average work week. Even though really for me it was 8 days, but you get what I mean. My forced vacation, it just reminded me of just how boring summer would be. And my God, but except around this time, I didn't have to stay home, being bored out of my mind because freaking, let's be honest, even though the times, it's just everything is different this time around. Because sure, because I got YouTube, I got anime, I got all these game consoles, I'm like, okay, I mean, there shouldn't be any reason why, I'd be bored at home all day. You'd be surprised, I'd still be freaking bored because I'm just so used to human interaction, despite being someone who never leaves his room, except to go to work and stuff. Freaking, it was just I mean, I can play video games for quite a while, but then after a while, I'll start getting tired, in a sense, to where I just okay, I take a little freaking Facebook break. And then I end up just staying on Facebook, and then I get on YouTube, and then I get on freaking 9anime, and they just do it. It's almost like a cycle, It's that's just the way I do things, I can't do one thing, I can't just keep continuously do one thing for long periods of time without getting bored of it, unless I spice it up, or unless my mind is really active. Or there are very few games that I can play where I'm just my mind's just so stimulated that I could just stay focused on it for hours. Shoo, Minecraft, oh my God, don't even get me started on freaking Minecraft. I remember when I first got the game for my Switch, I was so hesitant on putting the game cartridge into my freaking Switch because I was like, man, this I heard it was cringe, oh my God, I don't want to play this. Fine, plopped it in, and now everything's the exact opposite. Now, no, I still I still resist myself from putting the game into my console, but not because I don't want to play it, but now it's because if I play it, I'm gonna waste an entire day, because freaking on Minecraft, I play exclusively creative mode, because the whole freaking survival mode, I mean, that's cool, I guess. I mean, maybe if that's your thing, cool. But it's, for me personally, survival mode isn't really interesting unless you got friends. And for me, I'm mostly a freaking single player gamer, anyways. So freaking, and plus, you give me this game where I can create literally anything I want. I'm gonna I'm gonna want to just do that. I'm not gonna want to have to work, to get certain materials or grind, just do all this stuff so I can make this little freaking thing out, that I could easily just create in minutes, freaking creative mode. my god, like it's like giving me it's like I'm a kid and you give me a freaking like a whole thing of nothing but just Legos, and I'm like, oh shoot, I can build whatever I want. But then you give me some rules like, no 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 no, like if you want the red bricks, no, you got no, you gotta like, no, you gotta go wash your hands, you gotta go cook dinner, you gotta go mow the lawn, then you gotta go to work for 5 minutes, and then you gotta come back, and then I'll give you one red brick. And then if you want another one, you got to do the whole thing again and again and again and again. And then if you want a green brick, you're going to have to do some more extra chores for me. Now, if you want to get the yellow brick, you're going to have to go to the shower and you're going to have to clean yourself 12 times, and then I'll give you one. And then you got to keep doing it again and again. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do things over and over again just to get one little thing, just to create like a bigger thing. Like, no, like that's why I love creative mode, because it just gives me everything, straight, from the get-go, and I can create whatever I want, without having to worry about limitations or having to like, work, grind just to, get one thing done. It may sound boring to other people. Hell, it sounded boring to me whenever I first thought about the idea of playing Minecraft, because I'm like, man, like I don't want to play a game with no freaking goal. Like all you do is build stuff. Why would I want to do that? And here I am, freaking all I do is build stuff, and I will literally spend hours doing it. Like the last time I played Minecraft, I literally spent 10 hours straight on that sucker, and it only felt like an hour passed. Like, oh my god, because I was doing so much stuff in that game. Because I'm over here, building these freaking cities. I built myself an entire underground, or not underground, underwater, fortress, and it looks all cool and stuff, even though it's kind of impractical because I'm in creative mode. It's not like I'm surviving here or anything, but still, like, I just made it look all dope. It's all decked out and stuff. And man, I got this ginormous freaking like monument that I'm building. Basically it's just a giant wall. That like a giant wall like enclosure, that's enclosure in this one part of the game that I just completely obliterated with freaking explosives. But like still, like, I'm building something out of it. And I'll literally spend hours in that one little area just creating all these different things I want to make. And it's like I find that real fun. But the problem is that, like, if I play Minecraft, I'm gonna spend the entire freaking day, on it. Shoot, like, give me Minecraft and I'll forget to eat, drink, do anything. Hell, I'll even hold in, my own piss and crap, just to freaking just continuously play it, even though ironically it's on the Switch, so I could just bring it with me to the restroom. But I'm like, no, I don't want to get up. I just gotta keep doing this. It's an addiction, and I gotta control myself from it. Shoot, anyways, that's that. But how did this conversation get switched over the Minecraft? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, because freaking I'm talking about how summer, and I'm talking about the whole what the 10-day vacation. Man, like, again, I could just play Minecraft, for the entire freaking forced vacation, and I could have been fine. But again, like, I didn't want to do that. I just had to have human interaction, and I could only talk to like my parents, my sister, my grandmas for so long until I'm like, I want to just joke around with my friends. Like, come on, you know that feeling. Freaking, like, my friends I can let loose without having to worry about being lectured or offending anyone or whatever. So freaking, so like, I thought, hey, you know what? It's gonna cost me some gas, but you know what? I'm just gonna get in my car. I'm just gonna go visit them at their place, and it was all fine. It was all fun, man. It was just so good. And aside from hanging out with my friends on my days off, which was every freaking day, let's see, on the days where who would eventually become my girlfriend, my coworker at the time, we would just be talking all day. Well, I mean, not all day, because she still had to go to work, but like, I mean, because during her breaks, we'd be texting each other, and then we like. this is the same girl that I would always mention in earlier podcasts about how, just all this drama going on where, she originally started off liking this other guy and everything just went awkward and stuff. But man, like, because at this time, this dude, he's been long gone. And we've been just talking a lot more, so we're texting each other during our breaks, and then I started like, because I'd be one of the few people she would actually have lunch with, and I didn't like the idea of her just like, spending lunch alone. So I thought, hey, I want to go over there. Well, I mean, I probably couldn't just go over there because they wouldn't allow me in. It was like, oh no, you're a COVID boy. You gotta stay outside the building. You better stay out there, boy. So I would come in my car. I would just pick her up. We go to like a fast food restaurant or something, and we just eat at this park. Close to the store. Because it has a bench and all that. We just eat there, and we started a little tradition there. But so I would have lunch with her. Let's see. Shoot. Okay, my computer scared me for a moment. It thought I wanted me to close the browser, and I'm like, no, can't you see I'm recording a damn podcast here? Anyways, shoot. So we started having lunch together. We started, talking more, and one thing led to another. And by the end of that 10-day vacation, I was no longer single. And it was freaking great because I actually got to be more intimate with her, and we started like, starting things over again, and it was cool. It was great. It was awesome, and I'm just really glad that I finally get to have this chance with her, like this real chance with her. And man, it's like, God, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy, man. And now like the whole park thing that's become a normal thing because why not? Because I mean we got a new little crew that we talked to at lunch and stuff, but specifically on Fridays, that's their little date night. So I take her out somewhere, we just eat there, or we bring food and we go to the park again, or whatever. And I like it. I really do love it. And as with my friends, shoot. Actually, I remember it was on the second week. Freaking, we pulled an ultimate all-nighter. Now, why do I call it ultimate all-nighter? Well, it's because I go to bed at freaking 6 a.m. By that definition, I'm always pulling all-nighters. But freaking, so me and my friends, we had this idea to where, okay, we're gonna binge, the entirety of ReZero in a single night. And ReZero, if you haven't watched the anime yet, I highly recommend it. It's a psychological torture, just to see what the character goes through. Imagine Groundhog Day, but bloody. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Groundhog Day, but bloody. It's a great show. I freaking love it. And because before that time, I watched like an episode or two, and I was like, okay, I'm interested, I'm hooked, I want to keep watching. And then my friend's like, wait, like why don't we just watch the entire freaking first season, I'm like in a single night. And I'm like, okay, sounds lit, because the second season was coming up, and I'm like, shoot, like let's freaking do it. So me and my buds, we go over to his place, we basically have a sleepover without the sleeping. We're spending all night watching this anime, and shoot, good times happen, freaking action-packed times happen. It was freaking great. It was freaking great until it stopped being great, because after 6 a.m. we're just still awake, and that's when we just start dying. And man, God. So we had Chick-fil-A for breakfast, because freaking okay, so so the buddies I'm referring to are my buddies Leslie and Josh, and we're at Leslie's house, watching these animes, and Leslie's Uncle Larry, yeah, the real Uncle Larry, got us a Chick-fil-A for breakfast, and so we did that, and then my buddy Josh, he had this idea, hey, for the hell of it, let's go to Sam's. Let's go to Sam's Club. And I'm like, okay. I'm kind of tired, but okay. Man, shoot. So freaking, so we head over there to freaking Sam's Club, and it's cool. It's all good. You know, we're just walking around, you know, looking at things we don't normally looking at, and we go to this little flea market right next to it. We're very disappointed because it wasn't as cool as I thought it would be. I was actually kind of hoping to find like a classic game or two, or really anything interesting. It had nothing interesting. It was mostly just clothes. Used clothes with like freaking fleas and stuff, probably. I'm not sure. But anyways, like, man, I was just, God, and still by this point, I was just super freaking tired, man. Like, I just wanted to die. And it's same thing with the other two. And Josh, you know, he just said, okay, look, I'm not gonna be able to stay up anymore. Like, I'm like, my battery is dead. I just want to go home and die. And so he dropped him off at his house, and then my boy Leslie is like, okay, you know, he's out, you know, we're probably still gonna hang out till like 10 or something, or he originally wanted to continue on until freaking midnight, and I knew that was gonna happen, but it kind of happened because I stayed at that boy's house till 10 p.m. binge watching the entire first season of Kaguya-sama Love Is War, which is a very good romantic comedy if you're into that kind of stuff. But then like I still had like somewhat of the energy to stay up and watch that show. Because, well, first of all, I was just genuinely interested, and secondly, I drank like a couple of Monsters, so I was gonna be awake regardless if I wanted to go to bed or not. But my boy Leslie, like in the background, he was just falling asleep. Like he was asleep for pretty much like almost the entirety of the time I was there. You know, it just felt kind of weird because we're both in his room, he's sleeping, I'm over here watching the show. I'm like, I don't know, something don't feel right. You know, just something don't feel right. But I'm like, whatever. You know, just enjoy this freaking show. And I did, and I freaking by 10 o'clock the energy drink started wearing off, and I'm like, okay, buddy, I'm going to freaking bed. Like, you know, I gotta wake up at some point, you know, and start getting ready for work. Even though I totally forgot that I didn't have to go to work, so whatever. But I slept like a freaking baby, like that night, freaking like in that Travis Scott song, "Knock Me Out Like a Light." Man, I knocked myself out like a light, man. Freaking! Oh, I finally went to bed. I didn't wake up till like almost 6 p.m. that next night. Man, I felt so good. Felt so good. Felt so rested, man. Like, yeah, it felt so nice. Anyways, let's see what else happened. What else happened there in that 10-day forced vacation. Let's see. Well, for the first Sunday of my first forced vacation, my dad was just like really like concerned that I probably had the virus. I'm ironically not concerned enough to like barred me in my room, you know, keeping me from seeing my friends or anything like that. But you know, he said, okay, look, we got a lot of boomers at church. You know, we got a lot of old people, and this virus thing, if I were to have it, is deadly to freaking old people. You know, so he don't want me going there, possibly spreading this virus, and then I end up killing like 75% of the church. You know, so I'm like, okay, fine. You know, that's understandable. And so freaking you know, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch the sermon online. I ended up not watching the sermon online because freaking, like, here's the thing, you know, I was told that I was not going to church, I don't have to go to work, and I woke up at 6 p.m. I woke up at 6 p.m. on a Saturday, and it's already hard enough for me to sleep before 5 a.m. when I wake up at 12:30 p.m. Freaking, I'm over like, yeah, like try to get me to sleep, like freaking, yeah, just try to get me to sleep 6 hours after just waking up. No, that ain't happening, fam. That ain't happening. Hell no, that ain't happening. So I just slept and woke up around like 1 something on the Sunday afternoon. And it was just so boring. It was so boring because at that time, Like I would have actually, you know what? I think for the first Sunday I did go. Yeah, I did go and visit my buddies Leslie and Josh. Shoot, so we were just hanging out, like, just like a normal hangout that we have any other day, except, well, it's a Sunday, and freaking I didn't have to be at work, so it felt kind of weird, being there on a Sunday. But we just kind of, we spent time, just doing the same old, joking around, watching funny videos, watching weird movies, and just having a good time. And then the second Sunday of my forced vacation, I actually, yeah, I was actually allowed to go to church, and it was pretty lit. I loved it. Freaking finally going back to the house of the Lord, and getting my praise on. Receiving the word. And so afterwards, again, it just felt so weird because, like, normally right after church, I might talk to my friends, for like a little bit, but right after right after church, I just head straight for Wally World, because it's right there. It's right there next to the church, and I just head straight there and just clock in and then just do my thing. But I wasn't allowed to clock in yet, so freaking yeah. So, like, it's just so weird because I started heading for the store, but I'm like, oh yeah, I can't clock in yet, so I got like, oh, looks like I'm going home. And that Sunday was boring as freaking hell. Like, because my buddy Leslie, so he went to his very last youth camp, or he left. He left for his very last youth camp on that Sunday. And no disrespect to my buddy Josh, but like, freaking, I'm not gonna drive all the way, I'm not gonna drive all the way, to like Deer Park, because I live here in LaPorte. I'm not driving all the way to Deer Park, just to like, just to have an incomplete trio. Like, I don't know, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, if y'all out there feel this way, but like, it doesn't feel right, when you're normally part of this big group, but then like one of the main guys is out. It just doesn't feel right, just hanging out or whatever. And plus, I just kind of didn't feel like doing anything anyways, because by that point I was just like, whatever. And also too, I think even if I wanted to go all the way to Deer Park or whatever, freaking my gas was low, and freaking my gas was low, so I only had enough gas to get myself from home to work for the next couple days until payday arrived. So I mean, whatever. Anyways, so that Sunday was just so boring. Like, I couldn't go anywhere unless I walked there, but I'm not walking. I'm not walking a few miles, just to grab a burger, or just to like freaking, actually, no, not even just to grab a burger, because I was running low on freaking funds, man. So I only had like $6 to my name, after buying all my groceries and stuff, because I also bought a couple of games, and I bought this really expensive charger, this wireless charger. And they were like, okay, because my phone takes wireless charging. And so, like, what I hate is that, with every freaking phone I own, for some reason, the charger ports always freaking just don't work. Like, they just freaking don't. Or like, well, they'll work for like the first week of me having it, but then like after that, they'll start crapping up, and then they just don't work anymore. Freaking, and what sucked was that, like, freaking, I like with my new phone, I loved freaking using the actual like wired charger, because that was the only way I can do fast charge. Freaking, instead of waiting an eternity for my phone to charge, freaking, I would just have to wait like 20 minutes, and it would go from 0 to 100. And I'm like, oh, okay, hell yeah, But freaking, hey, whenever I put it on a wireless charger, it doesn't charge fast, it doesn't charge slow, it just charges. It like you would normally charge a phone. And I'm like, well, it's good enough. I'm glad that my phone has 2 ways of charging it. Otherwise, I'd be screwed. But still, like, I'm like, how can I get fast charge, on a wireless charger? So I bought this $50 freaking Samsung stand charger, and I'm like, okay, it says it can do 9 watts, so I can be like, okay, and it also says it can do fast charge. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's get it on. I bought it. Freaking, I mean, I could stand my phone on it, but there's a weird placement of the freaking wireless charger coil in my phone. It has a weird placement, so I can't so I put it on the freaking charger stand, and it wouldn't charge. I have it on the charger here right now, and it's sideways. It's freaking sideways, and that's because that's the only way. That's the only way it'll freaking work. If it's freaking sideways in landscape form, and that's the only way it'll freaking charge. And the good thing is, it's still on a stand. So I can still watch videos on it while it's charging. But at the same time, this charger is on my freaking computer desk. And I got my big old computer right here, right in front of me that I'm making a podcast on right now. And if I got my phone right here and my laptop right here that's connected to this big old TV and Bluetooth connected to this big old freaking, well, it's not that big, but this big old little freaking, a sound bar, I could just watch YouTube or anime or whatever. Am I really gonna watch some on a small screen when I can just watch it on a big screen? Let's be really honest here, man. So yeah, so freaking my money was just drained, and even if I could walk somewhere, I couldn't really buy anything. Otherwise, I would have gotten gas, and I probably would have went to Josh's house because I was just that bored, man. Because I'm oh man, just yeah. Oh my god, I remember why. I was so glad I took the Sunday shifts because actually growing up as a kid, Sundays weren't boring, even in the summer. I know earlier I said, I would always look forward to Friday because that was the day we would go grocery shopping. I'm like, hell yeah, I can actually get out of the house. Sure, we're just going to Walmart. But again, I'm out of the house. And so, but on Sundays though, on Sundays we of course we go to church, but then after church, we come back at the house for a little bit. We eat some lunch. Probably either somebody would make something, we'd make sandwiches, or then we would just get fast food. And then at 5, we'd head back to the church because that's whenever me and my sister would go to the youth group, and we'd be spending time with our church friends there, spending time with our youth pastor, getting the word. Then it was all fun, it was all cool. The thing was that this is now I am not freaking in high school no more. Freaking I don't go to youth group. Yeah, I don't go to youth group. My sister doesn't. Freaking, there's nothing to do. Freaking after church on Sundays. Cause the church ain't open, except for youth. But again, I don't go to youth. And freaking so I'm over here bored out of my mind. And again, I could be watching anime, I could be playing games and stuff like that. But I just wanted to hang out with friends. But but just my circumstances alone were just it was crappy. I just kind of wanted to sleep, but I couldn't. Actually, I think eventually, after spending freaking a couple of hours on Facebook just collecting memes, I'm like, okay, now I want to switch over to anime. Now I want to switch over to freaking gaming. But then I had this weird urge, weird urge, not to play my Switch or my PS4 or my Xbox or anything like that. No, of all consoles, I suddenly I don't know if it was the aesthetic or whatever. I don't know if it was just the ambiance of the atmosphere or whatever. I don't really know. But I just want to play Sega Genesis, just exclusively Sega Genesis that entire night. And it was fun, but it's just kind of weird how I just felt like only playing that console, for that, that night. And the thing is about my Sega Genesis, I don't hate it or anything. I love it. It's actually one of my most favorite consoles of all time. But I hardly ever play it. So for me to just suddenly want to play it freaking on a freaking Sunday evening, it's just weird. And again, I'm just over here wishing I could be at work because I'm like, man, Sundays are just so boring. I'm so glad I took up the Sunday shift because freaking I don't do anything on like nobody does anything on Sunday. It's just boring at the house. All they do is just watch TV, and I'm like, I mean, if I wanted to do that, I mean, just whatever. Like, ugh. But here we are. You know, we're. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's actually currently 4:41 a.m. I was actually gonna record like a couple of hours ago, or start recording a couple of hours ago, but like I was playing Ghost of Tsushima. Now that game, I got a feeling that's gonna become like my new Assassin's Creed, because in my earlier podcast I talked about how freaking Assassin's Creed 3, like that game specifically, just it hooked me in, it reeled me in, and for the longest time I could the only game I felt like playing was just that game, and I could just play it for hours and hours. And then for me, that was the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm thinking it's gonna be that next game. Yeah, it's pretty damn fun. And aside from that, on my Xbox, I'm playing. I'm finally freaking playing Star Wars Battlefront. It's really cool so far. Like, I'm in the beginning, but man, it's really freaking cool so far. Like, not too bad for my first modern Star Wars game. And on my Switch, I'm playing Octopath Traveler because I mean I've been watching more anime, so I've been getting more into RPGs. So I figure that's a pretty good game to start with. Hell freaking yeah, it's so good. So good, so fun. Hell yeah. Alright, so here we are at the wrap up here. Okay, so let's see. So that was my 10-day vacation. Yeah, for a little, well, it was supposed to be a quarantine because I was supposedly exposed to coronavirus and I gotta stay home for 10 days. I gotta come back unmedicated, I gotta come back completely clean. And in actuality, I just took a whole bunch of Dayquil and I'm freaking good. I went out with my friends, I got a girlfriend, went out with her too. I went to church, it was like a normal week, except I didn't go to work, which, for the most part was kind of boring. And, I said, even when when there are the times when I couldn't hang out with friends, again, it was still boring. So but now I'm so glad, that's done and over with. It was fun while it lasted, though. I will admit that. Now that was only for the middle 2 weeks of June. So what about all that time from between the last week of June all the way, basically through the entirety of July, all the way to August, or the first week of August, when I finally came back to podcasting? What was I doing all that time? Well, funny that you didn't ask. Well, it's because I was supposedly working on that little radio show, but it's not that I don't want to do it. It's not that I lost the passion to do it. It's just that I'm too late. I'm just very lazy. Now, I actually did complete the first scene. It's just that, well, again, I'm lazy. It actually took a lot of work just to, get what I got, and I do want to continue it at some point, just whenever, I get that spark of not just creativity, but that spark of inspiration. I'll go back, to Audacity, create, whatever scene has to be made. And eventually, I'll release it episodically, then release the whole thing as a whole. At least that's what I plan to do. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Because life goes on. Life has its little struggles and changes and phases. It's all it's all good. No matter what happens. Anyways, shoot. Oh, I'm just glad to be back. Actually, it's because of me just realizing that I'm just lazy and I'm probably. I don't want to spend forever, off the podcast. Yeah, that's what really got me back into doing it. That's why I changed the character from Dr. Abstruse to Ain't Noma and all that jazz. But anyways, so that pretty much sums it up. So if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for just tuning in, seeing what I gotta say. And well, there will be more. Not promising a new freaking thing every day, but more frequently, like at least once, twice, maybe thrice a week. Don't count on that, but I'm just gonna try to record and post more often, because that's the way I do it. And well, I don't want to keep myself away from the podcast for too long. So anyways, this is your boy Asiago on 3M Thoughts, signing off. Have a good night.